Hi guys, and welcome to another video on my Dark Eldar Grotesques. So, in the last video I showed you how I made the bodies and converted all that up. In this video I wanted to show you the arms. I've been doing some work on the weapons and the arms in general. So, this is basically how they're mostly going to look. There's still finishing touches to do, but let's take a look. Right, this is them here. So, there's a mixture of custom made weapons out of styrene that you can see here. You can't tell on this video, but there is actually a sharp edge along that part there, and then these two sides here are blunt. So there's that there. Now there's no hand holding this. Instead there's going to be a bit there which will make it look like it swings along, like around like that, so the Grotesque can get a proper swing on it, which is why it's at that funky angle. Now on the other arm I needed something to do flesh gauntlets, and I was trying to do styrene gauntlets, but they never looked quite right. And I'm not going to take the ones off my Talos because I need those for if I ever run the gauntlets on the Talos. So I was a bit stuck with what to do, to be honest. So instead, I decided to stick the spearheads on. Now, in the Hordes box, you get a bunch of spears like this. They're all separate, and I decided to see what it would look like if I replaced them and give them that sort of, you know, Bioshock, the first one, you had the Big Daddies. I've gone for that sort of look. As you can see there, the hand is replaced with just a spike that's been attached to the end of the bone. And so each of my guys has got one hand like that, and then another one has got a different custom close combat weapon. So there's that guy. Then we've got another guy with the same weapon, but attached differently. You can see here there's an extra bit. These aren't glued on. I'm not sure if I'm going to glue them on or if I'm going to keep them separate for when I travel with these things. He's got the same weapon there, as you can see, with the sharp side on the back here. I'm trying to hold it so that arm doesn't fall off again. And on this side, I've gone for two of the spearheads in the end of his arm there. I think that looks awesome. I'm just going to bring the zoom in slightly so I can show you guys better. There we go. So that's him. I like the way they've taken on this sort of Big Daddy-esque appearance while keeping the Dark Eldar elements as well. There goes his arm again. So he's armless. Ba-dum-tsh. That's that guy. Now this guy here, again, has got a spear on this hand here. Oh, it's popping out of his base. I'm also going to order the proper GW bases for these guys as well, because I'm not keen on these round-topped ones. And in this hand, he's got this sort of jabbing weapon here. Now, it's hard to see, but there is sort of detail beefing this up on either side. If I can block out one of the lights, maybe that one. There you go, you can see that now. And then, obviously, in the other hand, he's got that one. And on this weapon, the sharp edge is this one here. And the idea with this one is I was going for a sort of harpoon-esque thing. The idea being that he would jab it straight through an enemy, and that enemy would get stuck on it, so that he'd have to throw them off. I quite like the idea of that. So that's him. And then lastly, we've got this fella. Now, I need to do some more work. So this looks like the chains are coming out the end of his arm. So he's got a spearhead in that arm. And in this one, I've used the hooks that come with, I think they're with the Raider kit. These are supposed to hang off the bottom of the Raider. And again, because this is styrene, I've been able to glue that straight in. And there's such a strong bond on that. It's fantastic. So I may not need to keep the arms removable. You never know. But for now I am, just until I'm finally happy with what I've got going on here. So what's left to do? So the plan is I'm going to have some tubes coming from maybe the arm into the weapons, from the body into other parts of the body. Maybe have them come down into the top here that you get in most of the Coven guys. The idea being that I want to make it look like, one, it's more futuristic than it is, because obviously none of these have weapons that look futuristic. They're all basically melee weapons that could be in fantasy, basically. So I want to have more pipes and more wires that look like they're running poison up and down to the weapons. On this one here, I'll have them maybe come out the side of the arm and into the side of the weapon there, and then maybe have some tubes going down further. Just add that little bit more detail. Really, there you go. If I do that, you can kind of see the bladed edge on the edge of this knife there. So that is that. I'm really happy with the way these guys are looking. Really chuffed with it. We've got a little rack in the middle there to give you an idea of scale, and I'll just bring the zoom so that you can see them. And there we go. So those are my not so grotesques. Hoping that the paint job will make them look a bit more mean than they do on here. Though I think the horror look that I've gone for, I'm happy that it's scary. So to be honest, I'm happy that it's good to go, and it's not really up to other people's opinions because it's my unit, and yeah, you've got to think like that sometimes. It's what you want to do, and it's what you're happy with, and I am really chuffed with these guys. And at 25 quid for a box, you can't go wrong. I mean, that's less than buying 2 of the GW resin miscast, failcast, finecast stuff. When you look, even when they first came out, if you look at videos on YouTube where people have done close-ups of those models, they're just as bad a mess as the finecast racks that I've got, where spikes are missing and all sorts. And they basically had to grind half of the details off and green stuff their own, which is mad, because it was a brand new mold back when they first came out. It's going to be even worse now. I mean, the racks that I bought a long time ago compared to the ones that I bought towards the end of the finecast, the difference, you can tell a difference between the quality of the casts, because obviously the molds were getting old. So the grotesque ones are going to be bloody awful. I mean, that price, it's just silly, paying 15 quid for what's going to be a subpar product. So these are what I came up with. They fit much better in with the aesthetic of the army, in my opinion. They look a lot nicer next to the racks, and I am chuffed to bits. Right, I'm going to stop banging on now, because I've been going on for quite some time. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.